time for the Player 4 podcast. Get ready, y'all.
Hi, I'm Haley, aka Hales, on the Rooster Teeth website.
I am Tristan, aka Shagrazier.
I'm Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
I'm Joseph, aka Jay Dunlap.
Let's start off with And Another Thing.
And another thing.
And another thing.
I actually had something, but then it disappeared. Because I ate all those darn pretzels! I can't feel my tongue.
Was it in the pretzels, and that's why it's disappeared? You ate it?
I wouldn't put it past me to do such a thing. Because I like food. I'm hungry, okay?
Well, think on it. Maybe you'll remember it.
I'll chew on it, and we'll see if it pops into my head again.
So last week we talked about DC and Marvel again, and then there was a little bit of video game discussion, and then there was discussion.
And then, for some reason, I said DC when I meant Marvel, when I was saying Magneto was my favorite character in Marvel.
That was 2 weeks ago.
No, that was last week.
That was last week.
Are you sure? God, that feels like forever ago.
I think you ate your memories with the pretzels.
We have discussed a little bit of DC and Marvel almost every week because it's like the strongest common thread we've got.
I just feel like that happened 2 weeks ago.
It was a long week.
This is such a worthy conversation.
Really long week. Okay, anything else?
I do not have anything for you, Alex. I'm sorry.
Sean Connery. I don't know.
Lassie?
Something about Sean Connery and Batman.
Your amazing impression?
Yeah, it's gotten better.
Yeah, we don't usually have a lot for another thing. So, move on to the next topic.
What are you talking about? Go ahead, Alex.
What? I don't have anything for...
Hey, what was that cool thing that happened this week?
Well, there's several cool things that happened this week.
Let's start with one.
Rooster Teeth turned 12.
Oh, that was yesterday.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
And many more.
And Tristan cuts it short.
And you smell like a monkey. And you look like one, too.
On another note for anniversaries, tomorrow is going to be my third year being on the RT site, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, 2 days away from Rooster Teeth's birthday. Gosh!
If only you'd signed up 2 days earlier.
They would have thought he was joking.
So Rooster Teeth has been bringing us entertainment for over 12 years now.
I feel old. That's the youngest person here.
So wait. What season of Red vs. Blue did you start in, or what was your first Rooster Teeth show?
I told you, it was Red vs. Blue, like right when it came out.
So, season 1?
Yeah.
When did you join the site?
Just recently, because I'm not one of those people that like really joins like sites. Like I've been a fan for a very, very long time, but I've never been one of those people that posts in forums and stuff. I've never just been that kind of person.
She doesn't.
I was the same way. My second year anniversary is coming up soon. Alex, when did you start with Rooster Teeth, and what show was it?
I started with Red vs. Blue. So I didn't start when it started. I had a friend who mentioned it in passing, probably during when the first 5 seasons were going. I can't remember when. I didn't get started into it, though, until in my freshman year of college. I think I found the first 5 years online, and then somehow I randomly came across a thing going, oh, they're making a 6th season. Well, I need to start watching this. So I've been watching since they started making 6.
Nice, and now they're on 13. So that's like 7 solid years of watching RVB.
Yeah, like for me, I started like when they first came out. Like a friend showed it to me, and I was like, "This is what is this?" Like I've only seen Halo as a game. I was like, "What is this?" And so, and then I guess I lost touch with it for a little bit. And then it was kind of like how it happened with Alex. I got reintroduced to it, like, I think in like freshman year of high school. And then I guess I got caught up.
Last year.
I graduated college. I hate all of you. You're just jealous because I'm young and you're not.
What about you, Joseph?
Okay, so I did not know anything about Red vs. Blue when it started, and I knew what Halo was, but it wasn't until college that I was able to start playing Halo. I bought a TV and an Xbox just so I could play freaking Halo, and a friend on AOL, because I was always on AOL, MSN, all those, said, "Here, look at this funny video," and it was Internet versus Real Life, the PSA, and I was like, this is hilarious, but he didn't tell me that there was more. He just showed me that one video. So it wasn't until Season 4 had just started that I got to watch Red vs. Blue, and I'm kind of biased towards that season. That season is amazing. And then I went back, and that was when being a sponsor meant that you had access to like the high-definition versions of the previous seasons. And I went back and watched all the previous seasons, and I was like, this is amazing. And then I've been watching it nonstop since then.
I started back in junior high school, so that would have been season 1. My friend showed it to me just like everybody else, but the funny thing was, so I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I basically fell off completely. I didn't comprehend that there were multiple seasons of this, and that I could keep coming back and watching more. I remember a couple of years later, my friend gave me a disc for my birthday, a CD-ROM, and on it had the high-res, and they're named high-res for all the episodes for the first 4 seasons. And that kept me going for a while, going, man, I really do need to get on the internet and watch more of this, because apparently they made more. I still didn't for another few years until like midway through college when I discovered Rage Quit. I kept watching Rage Quit videos on YouTube, and that's when I learned that Achievement Hunter was Rooster Teeth, was Red vs. Blue, and that's how I got pulled back into the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So you fell off the wagon.
I did, and I apologize, but I always loved it. Like, I kept rewatching that disc with all the high-res episodes of the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually going to be posting that little journal entry, not because I want to win any contest. It's not for the contest at all. I'm really excited to explain my story.
Let's back up. You mentioned a contest, but we haven't talked about that.
The contest is writing why you're a fan of Rooster Teeth, and like explaining it and tagging it RTX or RT, what was it?
RT Contest.
RT Contest. And they're going to read through them and pick 2 people to win VIP RTX tickets, and then 2 more people, or is it the same people? They also get like $50 towards the store.
So it's more than just 2 people. It's 2 people per thing. So you can write a journal on the RT site. You can write a tweet about it. I think you might be able to do Facebook as well. Pretty much all the social sites, they're doing it, and then they're going to choose 2 from each site. That's
it. See, I'd rather the tickets go to someone who like can't go to RTX, or someone who doesn't have the money to go to RTX. Because I really want that for somebody, only because, and this is how I described conventions and RTX to me. For the longest time, my family has always made fun of me for what I liked, and they always I was kind of an outcast in my own family, and so
family.
Yeah, right.
It's okay. My family doesn't get Rooster Teeth either.
No, it's not even that. It's just I like anime. I like video games. I'm the nerd who actually acts out video games. Okay, I've been walked in on when that happened, and it's a little awkward to try and explain your way out of it. You're like, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? I was actually, for the longest time, like in middle school, it was mostly in middle school, I kind of pretended not to like the stuff that I actually liked, and it really made me upset. And I was the kind of person, again, that I would get lost in a book. Video games always were like, they were more than just a game to me. It was a story. It was somebody's life. And it was like I could escape. And being at a convention, and it wasn't until I got to go to conventions like in college. And it wasn't until I got to college and decided that I was going to go for the major that I wanted to go for, which was acting, which I figured like I kind of had, I'd always wanted to act. I'd always like gone back to it and been interested in it because I've always been that kind of dorky, weird, quirky person. So it wasn't until I got to conventions that I felt a society kind of feel, like, as my theater people would say, communitas. So it isn't until I got to conventions and I felt that welcoming feeling that I loved it so much, and I wanted to help other people feel that way. And that's what I love about RTX. It's in that moment you feel like you don't have to worry about other people. You actually are your own mini society, and you're welcomed, and there's no like exclusion or anything like that. And that's what RTX and like Rooster Teeth's done for me. Like, you see all these groups of people in this company, and they're like, they all have different interests, but they all care about one another, and they share each other's interests. Like, they if one person doesn't like, maybe not like something, they can show it to another person, but they're not going to like make fun of them for it.
I want to share a story about sharing Rooster Teeth with people. I shared the story about how it was shared with me, and I have experience with Drum Corps International. Have I mentioned this to you guys?
You mentioned it to me. DCI.
Yeah, I mentioned it to you. DCI, which is a lot like marching band, but it's not school affiliated necessarily. It's nonprofit organizations that are, at the moment, Belfront brass based off of like the bugle. So like the tubas are up on the shoulder with the bell facing the front rather than wrapped around the shoulders. And then drumline and front ensemble, which is like marimba, xylophone, timpani, that kind of stuff. And I marched drum corps, and it was my only year I could do that. And then I ended up teaching 2 different years at 2 different corps, the 2 that I actually marched at. And the first year that I taught, I brought my Red vs. Blue Season 4 DVD with me to tour. And when we weren't doing other stuff or playing, we played a lot of Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart when we weren't doing our drum corps thing. And it was a few of the staff and a lot of the kids playing on the TV in the band hall. Then we would also watch Red vs. Blue Season 4 and watch the PSAs nonstop. And it got to where by the end of the summer, we had little inside jokes like, maybe you don't, in reference to drinking a gallon of milk on your way to work.
Oh,
maybe
boy.
you don't. And we had a bunch of inside jokes in Red vs. Blue, so I'd like to think that some of those kids are on the site now because I introduced them to it.
I only drink the blood of my enemies.
You just got sarged.
Isn't it if you drink a gallon of milk, you'll die? Or what is
You'll
that?
throw up.
Yeah, nobody wins at a milk challenge.
A gallon is a large volume to try and put inside your stomach.
Yeah, it
Why
doesn't
is
matter
it?
what it is.
Can someone explain why it is that you just throw up? Is it just because it's milk, or is it just because it's a gallon? Or
It's
both?
mostly because it's a gallon.
Oh, so like if
It's
you
a
just
gallon.
drink a gallon of water, you'll also throw up.
It won't be. Yeah, you'll be stretching out your stomach. Your stomach just tries to expel it.
Yeah,
Oh, so-
I've been one of those people that's drank a lot of milk, not trying to drink a gallon just because I felt like drinking milk, as a teenager. And you've reached that point where you know that your body doesn't want anymore.
Mhm.
And it's also the fact that there's certain things that we still, as human beings, are not accustomed to, and milk is one of those things that we're still not quite accustomed to.
It's actually even cooler than that. We're not designed to drink it past infancy.
Really?
Our body is designed to develop in such a way that we don't need it or use it anymore.
Then why do we have osteoporosis?
Because we're not well designed.
We fall apart, okay? We get old.
So the funny thing is, if you stop drinking milk, you will develop intolerance for it. If you spend an extended period of time drinking no milk, you will become lactose intolerant.
I like the fact that the only people who are not lactose intolerant are those that, hundreds and hundreds of years ago had to drink milk to survive, like in Europe. And those that were lactose intolerant just died because they didn't have enough fat in their diet. But then people from Asia typically are lactose intolerant.
Yeah, there's just milk is not a part of their diet just at all. Asia's the only part of the world where a method for curdling milk into cheese was not developed because milk was not part of their diet.
But I like cheese.
Well, Westerners tend to.
I mean,
Got so many
I
kinds
think
of
I
it.
could live. I think I could live without cheese. I couldn't
I
live
don't think
without
you'd
ice
want
cream.
Why would you want to?
Yeah.
I mean, cheese is good, but it's not like I desire it. I need it. I need ice cream.
I went
Haley,
to
do you want pizza?
Ugh. I mean, I
Sometimes
like
I just
pizza,
really want
but
a stick.
after a while, pizza gets really nasty.
What'd you say, Alex?
I said sometimes I just really crave a cheese stick.
Like a
What?
mozzarella stick?
Yeah,
See,
just
I could go
straight up
my
mozzarella.
entire life and be okay with not eating it again.
Alex, do you like fish sticks?
I actually haven't eaten a fish stick for many years. I remember eating them as a child.
Yeah, that was they were big when we were kids.
If today you told me I could never eat cheese again, I can do it.
Hey, so things this week.
Today
Yes,
I learned.
cheese didn't happen this week, but
I mean,
might have
guys,
happened.
if you think about it, cheese makes you constipated. I'm
Cheese
just
me no
saying.
likey.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yes, I
God.
love cheese. Other
So
things that happened today, or not today, but this week, along with the Rooster Teeth, and I know we were talking about RVB, but I don't think specifically that 13 did start as well. Did
13
we?
did, yes.
Yeah, it was
Well-
like the prologue.
Yes,
It was
the
freaking sweet.
one of the best
Felix,
openings,
what?
I say. Already lots of twists and turns happening.
I started to see the direction it was going, and I was like, I know what's going to happen.
No
And it's
spoilers.
brilliant. It was a great idea on their part, the characters, to do that. And that's all we're going to say to avoid spoilers.
So we got RVB's Rooster Teeth's birthday and the contest associated with that. We got RVB season 13.
Is
Ruby.
there anything? Ruby as well?
Ruby!
Yes, we did not comment on this when the announcement was made. Alex, you said it was about 3 weeks ago,
Yes, that was what Gray's journal said.
and it was that Ruby is continuing. And while it is true that the announcement was 3 weeks ago, one such incident that I think leads me to believe that a lot of people just missed it, and also there's the fact that not every Rooster Teeth fan is on the Rooster Teeth site. I mean, Haley just joined, and she's been watching since season 1. If she hadn't joined in the past year, she wouldn't have known that Ruby was continuing, necessarily.
And I would have never met you guys. And let's be honest, your life has been thoroughly increased. Well, what is the word?
So
Improved.
Ruby,
Improved because of me.
Sorry, I helped her.
Sorry.
yes, well, she needed help. There are plenty of Rooster Teeth fans at the college I work at, and I mentioned Rooster Teeth at the end of a voice lesson on Monday, and one of the students who knows about my podcast said, "Oh, by the way, that are they continuing?" And I was like, "Ruby?" She's like, "Yeah, Ruby." And I was like, "Yeah, they made an announcement just a few weeks ago." She's like, "Yes." So a lot of people were still wondering whether Ruby was continuing even after the fact. So I figured it was something worth mentioning.
So
Yes,
Ruby
I
season
didn't-
3 confirmed.
Yes, I just didn't. I guess it was just second nature of me to think, okay, yeah, they're going to continue it because I mean, all of us at least knew kind of what Monty's mentality was, and we knew that he was kind of instilling what he wanted to happen in the story with all the rest of the people throughout all this time. I guess I didn't think of the people outside of the RT site community. I didn't think of the whole community.
The
But there was a
community
Ruby-
extends past the site.
Yes, and stops at YouTube. There's a Ruby video game that's coming out. What's up with that?
Yeah, so Gray announced that they're pushing forward with the alpha testing for the Ruby Hunter video game, Huntsman, Huntswoman video game, where you get to play as the different Ruby characters and use their special fighting moves in a kind of a. What was it? I saw the early iterations, which were very much what's that fighting game? The hack and slash. Can't think of it.
God of War?
No. Well, yeah,
Halo?
it is like that one too. It was.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Kingdom Hearts, at least, with like the attack patterns and stuff.
Cut out my ums. I gotta figure out what game this was that I was trying to compare it to.
While you're thinking, the game is called Ruby Grim Eclipse, I believe is the actual title of the game. And it's still in alpha phase, but they've released it so that you can play with other people. I think it's only one level, but they added a bunch of different monsters to it.
It's insane, y'all. I'm like gonna play the crap out of that game.
But you can reach it on the you can reach it on the RT website. I'll probably link it.
Dynasty Warriors. That's what I couldn't think of.
So I have some news, and it has nothing to do with RTX, Rooster Teeth, but because I mention it so much, they're coming out with a Beauty and the Beast live-action movie, and a lot of people already know that Emma Watson is Belle, and
yes,
they've chosen.
Don't take it that way.
It's so important. It's not even funny. It's so
which number on your list was she, Alex?
Emma Watson, I didn't say was on my list, but
is she?
She's on my list. I only have like the first 4.
Wait, have you written down this list?
No, it's just in my head. I have like 4, at least 4 that I know of for sure.
Okay. Anyway, back to my news, which is so much more important.
I don't know. My lists are pretty important.
No. Well, okay, yeah, they're pretty important because you have good tastes.
Yes, tell us about this live action Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, so Beauty and the Beast. Belle is going to be Emma Watson, which is going to be so adorable because she's adorable. But they've chosen the Beast and Gaston. And I'm so excited. So you guys want to know who it is?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Meh.
Ew, no, gross.
Because he's in everything just like Emma Watson.
Anyway.
Who is
Go
it?
ahead.
Gaston is Luke Evans. And Beast is Dan Stevens.
I'll be sure to put pictures up.
Yeah,
Dan Stevens, people might know him from Downtown Abbey.
Nope.
It's Downton Abbey.
Oh, okay. I've never watched the show. I was just trying to...
I haven't either, but I don't live under a rock.
And it's that castle downtown. You just gotta take a bus.
No, Downtown Abbey is the New York City Queens version.
Downtown Abbey, honey.
Are you a taxi driver?
I'd be one great taxi driver. I would be amazing.
I might fear for my life in that cab.
Hey, I'm a good driver.
I'd be holding onto the Osh handle.
What else? So is he on anything else other than Downton Abbey that we might know?
Let's see. He was Sir Lancelot in Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, so the newest one.
Still haven't seen that.
I didn't see it either.
What is Luke Evans been in?
He sounds familiar, and he looks familiar. So
Is he related to Chris Evans?
No, I don't think so.
Is he related to Luke Wilson?
No, I don't think
Luke
so.
Skywalker?
He was in Fast and Furious Supercharged. He was in Furious 7.
Haven't seen that. That just came out.
Will have been, might as well say.
Okay. Dracula Untold. He was Vlad.
Oh, he was the main character. Okay, so I at least know him somewhat. I haven't seen the movie, but...
He was in Fast and Furious 6. His name is Shaw.
Is he the traitor?
I don't know. I don't watch those movies. I think they're bad.
So?
Don't let Meg Turney tell you.
Sorry I asked you a question. I just watched everything wrong with Fast and Furious 6.
Meg Turney will get all up in your business.
Sorry, I just don't like racing.
But you said you thought you were a good driver.
Gone
that doesn't mean I'm like racing. Like that's like comparing peanut butter to jelly.
No,
they're two very different things.
It's like
that
comparing
you can...
peanut butter to steak. If we're going to get specific,
no, because you could put peanut butter and jelly together, just like you can put a car and driving to racing. But just because you can put them together.
When you're driving normally, that you're just driving normal speeds, and that's peanut butter, just a normal source of protein. But then when you're driving really fast in NASCAR, that's steak, which is a bigger source of protein.
That's bologna sandwich, and your bologna
You cannot
sandwich,
eat
and
a
you
car
eat
and
bologna
NASCAR
sandwiches.
together in a sandwich.
Jesus, why? Why are we going on this? Why
I'm
is
okay
this
with it.
Because
analogy
I'm trying
here?
to make her mad.
No, it's still Tapa. No,
And Joe trolls everyone again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
no, peanut butter and jelly. 'Cause
sorry.
you can mix the two, but you can't. And just like you can do it with racing and cars, but you can't. You don't have to put them together. You can have them separately and still enjoy your sandwich.
You could just say it's apples to oranges.
You can. I said peanut butter and jelly, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Is there anything else that you want us to discuss about Beauty and the Beast?
No. that was
Anything
it.
else you want us to rip apart?
I hate you all.
Got any other hopes and dreams for us to step on?
Yeah, you all suck.
The world sucks, and you're going to find out when you reach adulthood.
I
It's
am
gonna
an
suck when you grow
adult.
up.
I'm 24.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, you
24.
Yeah, you're almost old enough for renting a car.
I've already rented a car because my brother worked at Enterprise.
Okay.
So Alex and I were finally hanging out outside the podcast, because we're friends.
Oh yeah,
We-
I
We're
just flew to
friends?
Boston.
Yeah, right? Like crazy. It's almost like we're friends. We were pretending we were
We're
friends.
best friends.
Best friends. Forever.
He's Caboose. He thinks everyone is his best friend.
We're gonna be best friends. So we, Alex
the story?
sent me a link to the new Halo 5 TV ads that just posted to YouTube, and we had an interesting discussion about those.
Yes.
Is this going to be a dramatic reenactment?
No, that would be weird. Why would I? No. You
So
ruined
what?
it, Joe. You ruined my plan.
And I believe they premiered them during the Walking Dead season finale.
Which I feel bad for missing. But what we thought was interesting, we started discussing there's two different ad TV spots, and they premiered them in a specific order, which we had takes on why they premiered them. The question is, Joe, do we want to just say what happened in them? They're already out. So
How long have they been out?
A few days.
few days.
I think they came out. What was it? Monday.
I think that's right.
Go ahead.
Isn't Walking Dead on Monday?
So the two ads was interesting. They were like the same ad, but played in different different possibilities. Is kind of what it was like. So the first ad that they aired has the voiceover is
Spartan Locke.
Spartan Locke, thank you. I was like blanking on his name. So Spartan Locke, the new Spartan that's part of the storyline, who appears to be investigating these incidents. His voiceover is basically accusing. He's looking at a statue, a very impressive statue of the Master Chief, and saying, you were supposed to be the hero. How could you make these decisions? And accusing him. And it was this very accusatory voice, and it was really out of the blue, like, what? But he's a hero. How can he be the bad guy? And it ends with him, staring down the Master Chief, who is wounded at the base of the statue, and saying, now I'm going to right all the wrongs you've committed. And
Which, by the way, cutting in, the terrain of like where they're at is all destroyed and everything, and so that's why he's like, "Why you were supposed to save us, and yet you give us this."
yeah, so basically accusing Master Chief, you're supposed to save the world, but you've brought it destruction instead. And so now it's up to me to put you down before you can ruin everything else.
I actually did see these, actually.
All right then.
That sounds interesting.
And then after that, they aired another one, and you said they were, aired about an hour apart?
Well, on YouTube, that's where I saw them. They were shown a half hour but apart. So the Spartan Lot came, and then a half hour later, they showed the Master Chief one.
So how did the Master Chief one run? Basically like that, right?
Pretty much exactly like that, except his words were different. He was accusing Spartan Locke of compromising stuff, basically getting in the way. And he's so Spartan Locke is then instead He is at the base of the statue, hurt, and Master Chief is like, your mission is completed while mine is just beginning.
So basically just like role reversal, where in the second one, Spartan Locke has in fact the same wound and is in the same spot as the Master Chief was shown the first time, only now the Master Chief is the one accusing him of causing, the destruction that you see around them.
Yes, and then both of them, in both commercials, each one takes their pistol and essentially you're left to believe that they execute the other one.
Cool.
And it's like big shock value. Whoa!
Yeah, but, I mean, obviously for story's sake, they can't both be dead. And then when Halo 3 was going to come out, they had that big diorama trailer that had nothing to do with the game itself, so...
It's true. We don't know exactly how it'll play in or if it'll play in, but it's fun to talk about. We were discussing how maybe there's actually investigative parts of the game where you do find hints or clues that one person or the other is causing more problems than they're solving, so who knows? Maybe it won't play in at all.
What do we know about the story of Halo 5?
Not much.
But we also wanted to discuss, like, Tristan, you had a viewpoint of why they released those ads that way, and I
yeah. So we when Alex got into it, we were discussing why they released them the way they did, and Alex thought they would have been better shown in the opposite order. Maybe you should start with that, actually.
Yeah, I believe that they should have started with the Master Chief, kind of get everyone settled in, kind of relaxed, like, oh yeah, this is the next Halo game, Master Chief's going to show them what's what. And then after that, release the Spartan Locke 1 to kind of put that shock value on them and get them thinking about that last. Like I feel like once the Master Chief commercial came, then people like the Spartan Locke ad wouldn't have as much of an impact then.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like, well, of course it's Master Chief, but what was that thing about Locke again? Is kind of what you end up with.
So my take was that I felt that releasing them in the order that they did was exactly the right way to do it, because the first thing you see, so you're like, oh, a Halo 5 ad, and the first thing you see is someone is tearing the Master Chief down and saying, everything that he was supposed to be doing, he's failed at, and he's brought ruin to the world instead of saving it. And you go, that incites the emotions of the large fan base that heralds the Master Chief as the hero of the game series and loves almost all the qualities about him. And they basically are just like, and now you're gonna die. And you're like, well, what the hell is this guy? So that just gets everyone riled up, and they go, what the hell is this all about? And then they show the second commercial where it's the same thing, but now the Master Chief is the one accusing Locke, and you say, oh, well, that gets people interested and say, well, what's the truth? How does this actually play out? Why is there a possibility that it could play out the other way? So this just really, like, doing it the other way first incites people, and it's that negative response that gets them interested to see the next one and then go further and go, okay, why would they even do it the other way? So
you're in favor of Locke first? Or
I think that doing Locke first was the right way, because that gets the immediate, that knee-jerk reaction to why is my hero being painted as a villain.
I could see that. I could see both sides of it, because if you start with the Chief, then there might be people who think, okay, well, this is pretty predictable, and not even expect there to be a second one. If you start with Locke, then you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Then the second one comes out and you say, oh, I see, they're trying to give a dual narrative.
Yeah, that was my feeling.
I kind of agree more with Tristan, only because I'm kind of relating this back to, like, Kingdom Hearts 2. I remember when I first played, like, in the trailer, you obviously saw Sora, but then I started playing the game, and I was like, all right, where the heck is Sora? Well, who's this blonde-headed kid? But it gives you the need to play on to see what happens. It gives you, like, the need, the drive to be like, what is going on? What have I just stumbled into?
That's like Last of Us, where you start off as the little girl or whatever.
No.
And you're like, I thought I was going to be driving around Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, references to Rooster Teeth videos.
Which reminds me, by the way, with Naughty Dog just being brought up like that, Uncharted 4 got pushed back until spring of next year. I am kind of sad. I'm sad, but I know that Naughty Dog does whatever they can to make like some of the greatest games. So I honor their decision to do it, and I'm really excited to see where they're going to go, especially since this is the last game in the Uncharted series, and it makes me really sad because I love Nathan Drake. I love it.
Before we move on, just one last thing. I started searching deeper. A friend and I were looking at stuff after the ads, and we came across a SoundCloud profile that they made called Hunt the Truth, which is what their ad campaign is Hunt the Truth. And what it is it's basically a reporter going... they've only released 2 episodes. One's the primer, and the other one's like actually the reporter like talking to people in the Master Chief's past. And I'm already looking forward to them releasing more because it looks like it's going to delve into some of the stuff that they talk about in the books, and they've already mentioned stuff that's happened in former commercials, like in Halo 3. But that's
that reminds me. So of another story this week. We were looking at the videos, the TV ads for Halo, and that's when I stumbled onto the related videos on YouTube, and I saw that there was an ad. It struck a chord for me for a new Steam release of Oddworld Abe's Oddysee, all revamped in 3D.
Snap.
Right? Going back in time, that's Abe's Oddysee released in 2000, I think. It was very old 2D side 2D side scroller game where you play as an alien who was enslaved by other aliens.
And didn't you like fart and throw up?
You could do it. There were a lot of social interactions. But very sociable farting.
That's what
people.
You call social interactions.
I call that a social interaction. I do it every day.
Yeah, and I was telling you that I hadn't even heard of Munch's Oddysee I hadn't heard of Oddworld other than Munch's Oddysee.
And it's true, which brought up the fact that Oddworld Inhabitants, the game company that created all the Oddworld games, really took a back door for the last almost a decade now. They released Abe's Oddysee, which I don't know if that sold well or not, but I thought it was a great game. That led into them releasing on the Xbox, when that came out, a game called Munch's Oddysee, which is where you play yet another alien of the same race as the previous game on a similar kind of quest. Then followed that with Abe's Exodus. Finally, they released what was supposed to be one of their biggest sellers, which was Oddworld Stranger, which was supposed to be like a first-person shooter-style game with the setting of Oddworld, the planet that they created with all their unique races, and they were really excited about that. And the reason I remember that is because Oddworld Stranger tanked hard. Like, it hardly sold any copies at all, and they very heavily blamed their producer for not advertising enough. But after that, they just went radio silence for the longest time, and I just thought that Oddworld Inhabitants was gone. So suddenly seeing this ad for them re-releasing a revamped version of the first game was like, oh wow, they're not dead. They're still out there, and they're trying to make a comeback. And I made the remark to Alex that re-releasing the first game, which was one of their best games out of the ones they made, I think it is probably the best, most refined game of the ones they made, and releasing it with these vamped up graphics but keeping it a 2D side-scroller is very well timed, because right now with the Xbox Live Arcade, these retro-feeling 2D side-scrollers with vamped up 3D graphics are very popular, especially with casual gamers. So it seems like the perfect time to reinsert themselves into the market, and I'm excited to see if their sales of this game are much improved over their last several, and if this takes them somewhere. So, yeah, try out Abe's Oddysee. It looks really good. The graphics have all been vamped up. And it was a really, really well done, off-meta game. It's not like all the other games that were releasing at the time, and it's not like other games you'll find today.
Ringing endorsement there.
I liked it. It was great. Best 2D side scroller I've ever played.
That seems like a good note to end things on.
I believe so.
We're a gaming podcast.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on this ninth adventure into the Player 4 podcast. I hope you will join us next time. I think we have something special coming up for our 10th episode.
What?
For our
10th
10th
episode?
we do have a special guest planned, and stay tuned on Twitter to find out who that will be. Also, our gaming thing that we hinted at last week. Stay tuned on announcements about that as well.
We've gone a whole 10 weeks without killing each other.
That might change, at least in a video game.
we haven't reached 10 weeks yet. We're still at 9.
Just wait till we start playing games together, then there'll be murder galore.
You guys are going to hate me.
You think we're going to hate you.
All right, so everyone, care to say goodbye to the audience?
Bye.
So,
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
My tongue tastes weird.